Coach Mojalefa, thank you very much for your time. Your boys lost 2-1 in the first game. What were your thoughts on the overall performance of your boys?
I think take into consideration that this is their first official game, first game in a long process that's going to unfold in the next 5 years. I think they played very well. I think if you look at the first goal, it was a penalty. The second goal, the keeper missed the ball and they were able to tap in. So it wasn't from any, you can say we were breaking down or creatively. It's just one of those unfortunate moments. But if you look at ball possession, chances created from our side, I mean, our box entries in the second half, we had 5 one-on-one with the keeper that were kicked wide, narrowly missing the goal. So they played well, and what is important was them able to understand how we want them to play in terms of keeping the ball, starting the ball from the back, developing it in midfield, and finishing the attack with 1v1 through pass, taking a shot. So you could see those elements, and so for me, I think we played well against a very capable and strong team. Wits, they won quite a lot of duels. They kept us under pressure, but we did well.
Coach, you mentioned a 5-year process. Can you just tell us about that one?
Well, the boys, this is their first year, so they came in about 2 months ago. So they are in their technical phase. So right now we're just going to be working on technical application, passing, receiving, and also taking those skills and put it in the game. And then the following year is a technical where now it's tactics and how to apply certain things. And then first phase of competition, second phase of competition, and then the last phase where it's just optimal performance, where now you want to play for results. So it's that process. So we have a long way to go. Let me put it that way for these boys.
Coach, I always ask this to development coaches. I understand the process that at this particular stage it's not about results, but while developing these boys, you also want to create a winning mentality. How do you then balance the two to ensure that it's all about development while creating that culture of winning?
Well, I think the mistake that people make is that we treat development as miniature professional football. So as a result, the tools that we use to analyze youth football is based on what's happening with PSL. A win for a 13-year-old is for him to be able to control the ball with one foot and pass it with the other under pressure of time, space, and opponent. That's a win. It's not scoring a goal, because remember, this is a process of skills acquisition and mastery. So if a boy can master the skill, he has won. Then he moves to the next phase. So for me, that's winning. The results talk to something different, in their life, because remember, whether you win 5-0, 6-0, you win a cup, but if a boy can pass, control the ball under pressure, he's not going to make it. He has zero chance of making it at the top, and we've seen that happening, whereby players perform well in terms of tactics, physical, but they struggle technically, and then when they get into adulthood, they can't make it to the top. So for us as coaches, especially at this age, is not to be obsessed with the results. In fact, the results are for the coach, and his CV. It's not for the player. The player needs to know how to pass the ball under pressure. Remember, it's easy to pass the ball when there is no pressure. But when there is pressure of time, space, and opponent, it's a different story. So for the player to be able to perform under those circumstances, it should be considered a win for that boy, for that age. And remember, this thing it's scalable. You can't use, so when you are talking about passing and receiving it under 13, when it gets to 15, the demand becomes different. We can't judge him based on the under 13 criteria.
Coach, while I have you here,
Yes, sir.
I think this is a topic that everyone who loves football is talking about. We saw Bafana play France. We saw the gap in quality, and we all know that such things cannot be addressed at that level. It's something that we need to work on at development level and produce the kind of players that can compete with the likes of France. In your view, what do you think we've done wrong in our development structures, and what do we need to correct in order to bridge the gap between the top nations like France and Bafana?
Honestly, I think in South Africa there is talent, and the biggest problem is identifying talent to professional level. That's the biggest problem. But if you come to Bafana, let's be honest. You look at the selection. I mean, you have players who don't have teams, who are in the lineup. He's just training, and then he gets to go and mark Mbappe. What do you think is going to happen? You have players who, I did an analysis. In that lineup, only 3 players. It was Rowens, I think the guy who's playing the US, and Lekay. They are the only players who had played the 4 games leading up to that game. The rest, they were either coming as subs, playing 1 game here, 2 games here. That for me is poor management, performance-wise. You look at Mbappe. How many in the same period? How many games did he play? And you find that he played a lot of games, and that counts. So for us, I think modern development, we are just mismanaging performance at the top. The selection doesn't make sense, the tactics, they don't make sense, the lineup doesn't make sense. So before we can even say there is something wrong with development, let's see things being done properly at that level. You can't be selecting players who don't have teams and then say there is no development. We see it even in PSL. You have players who were playing at Super Sport the other time, doing well. They get bored, they go to another team, they sit, and they don't play for months and months. And then tomorrow we say there's no development. And those players are at their prime, 24, 25, that's prime. But they are not being played. So it seems like we don't understand performance. We think we confuse it with fame. If a player is famous, then it means he's well developed. That's not development. We have the players. Yes, we might not have thousands and thousands, but I can assure you we have more than 11 players who can go into Bafana and play. So let's start with selection. Let's start with the right tactics. I mean, we kick the ball up front all the time. Our players are short. Where do you think they're going to get the ball from? You saw we give away possession. Every second touch we kicking the ball forward, and that unsettles players. Remember also, you must play to the strength of players. You can't force them to play Copenhagen and then say there's no development.
Last one, what is your honest assessment of our development? Are we heading in the right direction, or we are struggling?
Look, remember South Africa, the biggest problem that people make, they want to compare South Africa, which in terms of land base, it's very huge. I mean, in Europe, you can take a train from one corner and go to the other corner. Within 5 hours, you've went across Europe. You are done. Because it's small country. So us, we are very big. And we are dispersed. So it's for you to say that development must happen in each and every corner, and therefore it's development. It's not honest. I mean, we are here now. We have under 15 playing. We had under 13 playing previously. We're still waiting for under 17, and then later on under 19. That's development. It's cold. We are here, but it's development. So we shouldn't want to coin development to numbers. To say if 100,000 kids are playing, then we have development. Yes, we would like to have mass participation, which I think that's what people are referring to, where kids are playing football in every corner of South Africa. That's mass participation. But development is here. You go to Kaizer Chiefs now is playing, they're under 15 as well. You go to Super Sport, they are playing now. So there is development. Yes, it doesn't cover all the areas in South Africa, and for obvious reason, resources, and infrastructure and all of that. But development is there. We just have to know where to find the players and manage them properly, you know, and at the same time also invest in making sure that the development reaches other areas in South Africa and it's inclusive.
Coach, thank
Yes.
you very much for your time, and all the best in your upcoming games.
Okay, thank you.